pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Please come to order. We do have brief posting in accordance with Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code as amended, known as Texas Open Meetings Act. Any members of the public who wish to speak each have 3 minutes. All right, I don't believe we have anyone that is requesting to speak, so we will go to item number 21 to approve the minutes of the April 2nd regular meeting.
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
I second.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Motion carried. Item number 2 is budget transfers and amendments. We have a list. We have a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve budget transfers and amendments.
I second.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Motion carried. Item number 3 is to approve. If you would, rather than doing that at this moment, could we step down and go ahead and do our public hearing so that we can get that moved along, and then we'll
says she wants my clock to stop.
Sir,
If you want the clock,
His clock's ticking.
his clock is ticking, right? All right, let's go to item number 9, which is to hold a public hearing on the Freestone County's intent to enter into a tax abatement agreement with Piedra Solar relating to solar power generation and battery energy storage facility and equipment. Now, is that the one that we were going to table? or
That's the
going-
one we're gonna table today because it's, actually should be on there for approval of a reinvestment zone.
Okay,
And it's not there for approval of tax abatement agreement, so we're gonna have to do
All
it
right.
next month.
so do we have a motion to table number 9?
I'll make that motion.
That's a battery, this is a battery facility, isn't
It's both.
it?
Let's see, Piedra, oh, no,
This is.
Piedra's battery storage only.
Yeah, that's what I thought, okay.
We have a motion, do we have a second to table?
I'll make it.
All in favor, aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Item number 10 has to do with the tax abatement agreement. And so do we have a motion to table that one also?
No, the second one's fine.
The second one is fine. All right, number 10 is discussion and possible action on approval of the tax abatement agreement between Freestone County and Piedra Solar LLC.
No, that one was, yeah, you're right, we tabled that one also.
Okay, do we have a motion to table number 10?
Motion to table number 10.
Second.
All in favor, aye. Motion carried. Now, item number 11 is to hold a public hearing on the tax abatement agreement with Avant Prairie ESS relating to battery energy storage facility and equipment. That's a public hearing for that one, number 11. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right.
Just to give you some background, Avant Prairie facility is a 200 megawatt battery energy storage system with all related equipment. The zone that it's on is RIS number 9. It's approximately 36.85 acres. The projected capital investment is approximately $90 million. The yearly pilot is $152,097.75. It's expected to be done by the end of 2028. And they are paying an upfront $10,000
All right. So
payment.
at this time, we're opening a public hearing on that. And what time is it?
9/11.
At 9:11, we are opening the public hearing. Any discussion or comments from the public? If there are none, then we will close the public hearing on the Avant Prairie ESS at,
It's still 9/11.
well, let's wait just a second
Okay.
before we close it, so we can close it at 9:12. How about that? Tell me when the time comes.
It's 9/12.
9:12, we are closing the meeting. We will go to item number 12, which is discussion and possible action on approval of the tax abatement agreement between Freestone County and Avant Prairie ESS.
Again, this is the same thing. As I've explained, facilities, battery energy storage system, $90 million of investment, $152,097.75 a year pilot, and due to be done at the end of 2028, and they are paying a $10,000 upfront payment.
And the tax abatement is the same as the ones that we've entered into previously.
Right.
Good
Would you
morning.
like to give us some information?
Sure, Stephen Van Dyke with Cummings Westlake. We were here a couple months ago when we did the initial. I've got Josh with OCI. We're here to answer any questions if you have any. thank you for putting this on the agenda, and let us know if you have any questions.
Anyone have questions or discussion?
Just with a lot of people down there since we had court that day, and one was sitting here that lived right down the road and everything, but, nothing bad to say as far as that. Like they'd rather see your batteries than they had solar panels, so.
Sounds good. Thank you.
And I will point out that we have a battery energy storage safety covenants in our agreement, which require all sorts of safety monitoring and.
Aren't they required to meet with the, I mean, you
Right.
help train the local fire
Train.
departments for anything that's
Yeah.
related to it?
They're required to be
That's right.
trained with local first responders on how to respond to an incident. It has a self-contained fire suppression system. So in most cases, it's not gonna be a problem. The only time I've seen one do anything is I saw the end blown off the container of one in Hill County because of pressure that had built up. But, it wasn't catastrophic at all. But otherwise, I haven't seen any problem with any of them.
I'll make a motion to approve tax abatement agreement between Freestone County and Amen Prairie ESS.
Second.
Any discussion? If not, all in favor, aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Now, you have one that we want to sign, or do you want to sign the one that I have here?
I have actually one to sign and one to keep in the minutes. This whole placeholder. I'll have to sign this one, you just keep it in the minutes as a placeholder. But if we can sign these,
Yes.
remember this one has one that all the commissioners have to sign.
I have one with our signatures on it also.
So we can put it together and have a final executed agreement today.
Judge, I have my stamp and seal,
So this is the one with
and,
all the commissioners.
we can get Maria to make a copy, and he can go ahead and take it.
Okay. I'll just go ahead and send it this way.
And this one's just you, Judge.
All right. And this is the same as what he.
Yes, ma'am. That just has our signature already on it.
Well, I mean, so.
Well, so we may have two things going on.
Yes, it may, okay.
That was the one with the commissioner signing of page 25.
That, is this, is this what I just signed with the whole?
This is the tax pay. I just brought a page of our signature.
Yes, okay, well, we may just go back then and sign that one.
Or we can take the ones we've signed and just stick this to the back.
I'll take it to the back, okay, that's perfect, we'll do that.
Well,
And do you have it on Rua too?
Yes.
yes, and I have one in there.
I'll take it back and sign it.
Hey, well, we're gonna sign all of this and give it to y'all, and y'all can sort it out what goes with what, how about that?
I really don't
Yes.
use it that much, but we were talking about all this, so.
You get this one, Maria?
First, give it to Renee first.
Give this one tonight.
Renee, she's gonna put her stamp on it, and then pass this back to Renee also. Here you go.
Well, that one has their signature on it, so I guess that one's,
Well, right there.
Okay.
yeah. so we'll use it instead of this one.
Is that the same as that?
Yeah.
Looks like we've got a long agenda today, but we really haven't, we're gonna pass several things, so. You're looking at the bills, all the way.
Done on this.
Yeah.
Done on this.
Do what?
Done.
Me too. Absolutely. Four sets of them. Is that right, four sets? Yes, ma'am.
Do you need me to go ahead and do this one? Okay. Here's the one you had just replaced those pages. Okay. Is that the only two things you need to know? Okay. Remember, yes.
Remember to toss that one.
Okay.
I'm gonna need some help, if you got a second, because I need to put these pages in there, where the sign there pages are.
Okay.
And then make a copy of
Okay. Would you like me to go ahead and add the date to them, up to date?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't remember. I didn't remember.
We wouldn't get this in until we.
We wasn't getting the ten till here later.
The money
Right,
putting the, for the road use, we had talked about doing cash instead of, on that.
but, on the road use.
That's what I remember $100.
Yeah.
It's like on the road use agreement.
Okay.
You know, putting the cash
So
up front.
they-
Right.
Isn't that what you remember?
The 10 was.
I remember you talking about you wanted the cash put with the treasurer for the road.
Road use, that was where we come up with cash, that's where that number
Right,
came from.
so they do that, is that right?
Not on the, it wasn't on the front side of this, like, that was
Right.
when we got to, with the
Well,
road.
that's when they start.
When they start construction.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Okay, so that's the same thing, I mean, it's not the same thing, but it's, they've got to place it with our treasurer.
Yeah, before construction.
$100,000, yes,
Yeah.
That's right.
yes.
Now, the old one's red, that is doable.
No, that road use agreement didn't
The
change.
old one had, bond
Bond,
or
or-
letter of credit.
Yeah.
Letter of credit, we changed
And
it.
a bond is almost impossible to get for some reason. And a letter of credit
Yeah,
is not dependent,
yeah, that is, yeah.
Yeah.
because they put so many conditions in it that it
Yeah.
is not useful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Now we will go back to number 3, which is to approve and pay bills.
Make a motion to approve the pay bill.
I'll second that.
All aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 4 is to approve the payroll.
Make a motion to approve the payroll. I second.
All in favor, aye. That's an unanimous. Any opposed? None, motion carries. Item number 5 is reports. I do have a monthly report for March from the auditor and the treasurer's report based on this March monthly report of the auditors. We'll all sign that. A report from JP3 on the March activity, also from the county clerk, tax office, senior services, and JP1. Does anyone else have a report? Sheriff, do you have a report today?
Oh, well, I can tell you that our jail is continuously staying full. And unfortunately, it's all maxes. We are over 80 inmates, several times. Just this last month, obviously, our jail only holds about 43. It's becoming more and more difficult to house out of county because everybody's full. I've had to reach out to, this past weekend, I worked 22 hours and literally only opened up 4 beds. It's just becoming very difficult to find bed space. Falls County and Houston County, they called me back Friday afternoon and Saturday afternoon each. They had some bed space available. They couldn't take too many, but they could help us out for the meantime, and so they did. And I ran inmates to Falls, and I ran inmates to Houston. And yesterday, I started working with Anderson County because they finally got enough employees to where maybe they can house about 8. And so we're looking at a contract with them, hopefully, and try to get some over there because we're just, it's a domino effect. I know a couple of the commissioners have probably heard from some of the agencies, because I get to a point where the state won't allow me to hold anybody else. And I don't want to release people. I don't want to kick people out the door. And so it's becoming difficult. I think a lot of the agencies don't understand that we have to operate by state legalities. I mean, I can't keep people on the floor, and I have to constantly find places to go. And if I don't have any place to go, I can't take people. Otherwise, that's us. They're going to shut our whole jail down, then we won't even have a jail at all. So it's just a difficult process for everybody, and it's a domino effect that falls on everybody. So, but we're doing the best we can, trying. I mean, like I said, I worked 22 hours myself this weekend. So, we need to be looking at beds. We need some beds in this county. We're staying really high. I think our numbers in Limestone have been probably 30 or better almost all year long. That's almost the entire jail here. So that's, and then the plumbing issues, but I'm on the docket for that. So
Thank you. Anyone else? All right. If not, do we have a motion to accept the reports?
Make a motion to accept the reports.
Second.
All in favor, aye. Motion carried. Item number 6, one ban.
No action. No action.
Number 7, the road use agreements. No action. Number 8, Approve bonds and education certificates. A Public Funds Investment Act for Mandy Chambers. A Public Funds Investment Act. Same thing. Cybersecurity for Renee McVeigh, for Stephanie Stevenson, for Karen Moore, for Maria Santana, Renee Gregory, Jennifer Fulkerson, Jamie Myers, J.C. Jones, Annie Carruthers. Anyone else have one? If not, do we have a motion to accept these?
I make a motion to approve bonds, education certificates.
To accept those,
Yeah,
all
accept
right?
it.
Second.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. There you go. That takes us to number 13, investment policy. We still have a few issues that we're looking at to try to get resolved, so I'd like to table that again.
Motion to table.
Second.
All in favor, aye. Motion carried. Number 14, Windstream agreement discussion.
I can see them in there at the printer.
Okay.
Sorry, guys. I just received this morning. Mike Moore's here with me from Windstream. I think y'all have met him before. This was the agreement. That's what I'm trying to get my head. So probably the most important what you're going to be looking at is page 2. I'm going through some of the detail with him right there right now. Michael, I'm going to let you explain to them what's going on here.
Okay, the actual agreement that you have there, what it is, because of a lot of changes and things, not so much with you guys, but with us, and just a nationwide and companies-wide, they're getting rid of copper lines. And you guys had a lot of lines here that weren't copper, but they were on the old phone system. And on this agreement here, these are things that you already have. They're already represented in the original agreement. But in order to change the voice lines, like the first thing you have on there is internet, that's under your old agreement, but we couldn't write these new digital voice lines on there for your fax machines without an internet source. So we have to put that on there. So if you're not signing for another internet, that's what you already have existing in order to have those, what they call DDL lines on there. And so instead of just regular, what they call plain old telephone, what they used to call POTS lines, now they have digital voice lines. And so those lines on there, those different charges, the 1160 to 58, those are the fax lines. Those now you already have on the old Allworks system. But in order to get these things in process through the order, we had to go and do another agreement just to get them on there so they'll be represented on there and we'll know what you have and you will know what you have. So this should not raise the level of the whole agreement. It's just the way things have came and the way things have changed. We had to bit and piece it, but once we get everything done, which we're shooting for May 21st of having everything done, I guess if everything goes right with the firewall and everything will be completed. And then we could just redo everything and just have it and put it all on one agreement. But, you know, we've had like SD-WAN, backup, and just the different switches and things we had to change at different times because of what's there. We had switches that were ordered that weren't needed, that we had to take off and things. And so what we'll do is put it all on one thing so you guys will see that we'll be right back from where we started from when we did the original agreement there. So This right here is more procedural in order to get it done versus adding any charges or anything like that. 'Cause these things you already have.
If we sign this today, and then after the 21st, with the firewall and everything changed out, then we'll get another one of these.
We'll just, what we'll do, we'll just go over everything and we'll just put it all in one to show you that, show you where we at. And what I would suggest we do, instead of trying to do a new one and add more time, we'll just make it retro from when we started. You know what I mean? We'll just do another agreement, and whether you guys wish to sign that or not, or we can keep things where they are, I just want to do that so we can see that where we are in comparison to what we've been doing. Because we've had a lot of changes, we've done a lot of different things, but I just want you guys to see that all this came together and we don't have just a lot of wild charges on here and you guys end up with a $8,000 bill or something like that.
We don't want to see that either.
No.
The main concern when I saw this, and this was part of the reason that I wanted Mike to come in and explain what was going on, is if you look at that second page there, it's got the monthly recurring expenses of $1,016 a month. That's basically our fiber coming in, okay? We agreed to that when we signed the original contract, but now they're asking for us to sign it with it on there again, right? And that's what I wanted to highlight. So what he's saying is that they're just having to put it on there so that they can get these fax lines off of POTS lines to do it, and then once it's done, but I don't like the way this is being done myself, but Windstream, I guess they do stuff. I don't know why we got to
You're
do that,
telling
sir.
us though, after we get all this done, we're going back to our 1,016,
You're already paying that. That's already in there.
and that'll still be what it
It's
is?
still gonna be what it is. Yes, yes, yes. All that, this right here is just
Okay.
what we need procedurally to get these things
It's just
done.
for your benefit, not ours.
Pretty much, yes, but we just gotta let you guys know in order to change. But what I'll be able to do is take that and then all the other little agreements we got and reconcile them down to one thing, so you'll see the big picture and the scope, and you'll see that you won't be double charged for that.
Okay.
There'll be no double charges or
No double
anything like
charge.
that. Right, unfortunately, it happened to, you know,
So it's gonna go back to the 1,016 for this part, is that what you're telling me?
you're already paying that. In order to get
Or it's
these,
gonna stay at that?
it's gonna stay at that. That's where it
It's
is
gonna
now.
stay at that,
Just
period.
internet service. There'll be
Yes.
additional charges, is what you're saying.
Yes, that's just what you're already paying for, just the internet service. Yes, yes, yes. And in order to get these little charges for your lines, which are your current fax machines now, because they're being replaced with what they call digital voice lines. And so in order to do that, we have to have a source of internet in order to run these digital voice lines. Now, even these lines are represented in your old bill here, and this is just replacing that. Because the old Allworks system, all those things are coming out.
Okay, so it'll be the 1,016, but it's gonna be plus that probably because we're paying that somewhere else.
Yes, ma'am.
And we're
That's-
rolling it into this.
Yes, ma'am. That's it, exactly.
Is there anything else out there that's not?
No, and, you know Mike. Okay, talked with him last night. They'll be putting up the other switches on Friday and setting those, and I think he said he'll be setting several phones. But, you know, him and David Ison, they've been working with you guys here for quite some time, and so they got a plan set out that if they can set it up, and just, they'll be setting the phones out, not connecting anybody. They'll be getting them into different places, putting them where they need to go. And what they like to do is just take a section at a time and bring it up and make sure it's all done and just go from there. So when we come to the 21st to do the, the SD-WAN and the firewall, you guys won't, you'll be down for a little bit, but not a long time, versus doing everything all at one time, and then, you know, you have guys running.
We've already set all the switches across the county except for, and I'll be in here on Friday, working with the Windstream guys to set district court switch. So I'm talking to them to get access there, setting one in the basement. Everything goes smooth there, all the main switches are set. Then we're just waiting for that 21st day to get the firewall and the SD-WAN in place, and this whole project's gonna be, The phones are gonna be, the phones will be set, once we have the switches, we can start setting phones, but I want to coordinate that, because, and I was just talking to Mike about that, is, you know, if we just drop phones on people's desks, we're gonna need some training, support from Windstream, right? Because I've already experienced that.
And versus trying to do it all at one time, if we can do like whichever section Mike and David recommend, I can make sure we get that section and get them taken care of, so we can do that versus trying to do the whole county at the same time. You know, then you'll have everybody
Right now, we're paying $1,016
for internet.
for internet,
That's just for the internet company.
just for internet.
Yes.
Okay. Are we paying for internet in any other place? That is the whole county's,
No, that's just for this location, your fiber coming to here.
this location?
Yes. And that was prior to anything we got. Yes.
Yeah, that's that 1G circuit y'all had forever, but it's been backed up because we had the 10-100 switches and phones, and that's what kind of drove the replacement of most of this. We needed to get the speed for these new systems we're bringing on, and you know how slow everything
So in
is.
the end, it is gonna be more. I know for this bill, because we're paying $1,060.
Yes, that's just represent the.
But we are gonna be adding those on. We were paying that before, we were adding this into this.
All that other stuff is already under agreement.
Yeah.
This is just a change, and what I wanted was that 1,000 is almost a double, okay? And that's what he's trying to explain, is we're already paying it, but they have to have it there in order to put on these fax lines, if you would. And so, what they're gonna do is, what he suggested, believe me,
So this, all that other is gonna come off of something else that we're.
It's already represented somewhere else.
So it'll reduce that part. Okay,
That's what they're telling me.
all right.
We'll do, and like I said, we'll be going over that, and any way that we can bring it down.
I appreciate it.
All right?
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Y'all have anything else? There is no motion.
Clear as mud.
All right. Do we have a motion?
They're gonna say.
To approve the new Windstream.
The amendment to the agreement.
The amendment to the
Amendment to the
agreement.
agreement.
Do we have a motion to approve the amendment to the agreement?
Second. You made it.
Oh, I guess I did.
Thank you. All in favor, aye. Any opposed? There you go, that's it. Happy days. Item number 15 is to consider a final plat of the Darien Acres addition. Now, where is that?
Judge Grant, I sent him an email yesterday asking if he was gonna be here, and he said that he's still like having issues. So, he asked if he could, like, we could table it.
Table that. Do we have a motion to table?
Make that motion.
All in favor, aye. Motion carried. Item number 16, discuss the funding agreement between the Texas Historical Commission and Freestone County for Round 13 Historical Courthouse Preservation Program. Okay, so we have our funding agreement that we have looked at.
The one I had didn't have any figure with it, Joe.
Right. That's the same information that was in the application that we approved and sent to the state. And those figures will be the ones that we will use until we go out for bids. And then we will have to amend our funding agreement, because we don't actually know what our figures are going to be until we go out for bids. We know what is in our application and what they have approved now, but I'm sure there will be changes at that point, but we won't know until we go out for bids.
these figures on here, the architect.
The architect, yes, and the various people that he has had that has come and looked. You know, structural people, all of those, electrical, all of those that have come and looked. But even if it's exactly the same, the prices are still not gonna be the same. I know that y'all, we looked at it way back when we did the application, but I think probably we need to take these and all can look at them again. But just knowing, and have a little more time to study them, just knowing that these will change, I'm sure, whenever we go out for bids.
So the project schedule attachment D, that's something that we won't get until,
Okay, what page is that on?
well, it's, page 7.
Page 7. Okay. Of course, we have A, B, the project cost estimates. We're gonna use the ones that we did,
Which we have.
that we had in the application. And then the scope of work, basically the same thing. Project schedule, we don't have yet, the architect will set that up for us. And then the resolutions. I'm assuming that y'all would want to take these and look over them some more before we approve them, is that correct?
You bet.
Is there anything else that you need on this funding agreement that we can provide to you that would, that you would want to look at? That would help us?
Who's the head person over this? I'm talking about from the Texas Historical Society. Are there ever anybody from the Texas Historical Society that's with this grant? Are they ever gonna come and talk to us where we can ask questions to them?
Well, we can have the architect come on Monday.
Is he gonna know how much it's gonna cost at the end? How much?
We won't know until we go out for bids.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah, I just,
The meeting that y'all had, Linda, with Judge Grant, with the lady, will she come back
I think she can, yeah,
and talk to all 4 of us?
yeah. Sure.
I think that'd be a good idea.
But
If we do have questions.
they're not gonna know, like I said, until we go out for bids. He estimated all of that from the information that he could get from all of the different areas, but, you know, a lot of that's changed. Yeah.
I mean, you know, from us going to, and I know, y'all, we've all been in meetings where they talked about other counties doing their courthouses. There has been they were surprised at the end. Now, whether that's still happening or not, I don't know.
Well, I don't think it's unusual for the cost to go up and for things to change. And the things that I have heard have been, well, for example, when Karen and Angela and others were down there the day that they awarded our contract, our grant, there were 2 other counties that already were working on in their grants, and they had come back to ask for more money for whatever it was, they just needed more money for it. And they did approve both of those. And when Mr. Malanaphy was here, we discussed that and asked him about it. He said, yes, that you can come back, and he said, you know, we anticipate that. and they have approved. We also asked, the day he was here, asked about the elevator, and he said, no, the elevator is fine where it is, you're not gonna have to move the elevator.
What all kinds of, what all kinds of things that we are gonna be displaced or removed or whatever? I mean, what's gonna be, do we know that, what's gonna be
There will
displaced?
have to be some people displaced at times, yes.
And where are those, do we know where those people are gonna go?
I'm thinking that probably over here in Renee's building, where the officers are, you know, we won't put up your shelves until after that, so that that'll be available. Over at the dispatch area, all that area in the front, where there is nothing, where there's no dispatch or there's no sheriff's office people, all of that is available. And then there might be some ways we move things around in here.
Well, I mean, I'm not sure, what kind of construction's gonna be done in the courthouse? I mean, what's gonna be, I mean, I haven't heard anything about what they're gonna move, who's gonna move.
We have the drawings that they've already had. We looked at them whenever we did the application. We have them on the table in there if you'd like to look at those after court. We can look at that, but the main thing is we're gonna do a lot of things in the basement. That's the main change. That bathroom, they're gonna have to totally redo it so that it will be more ADA accessible and move. You know, they moved a lot of walls in there. I don't think there's that much as far as moving walls, other than there may be a little bit on the fourth floor.
Would have been on the third floor up there, you know, we moved those offices out some years ago, like where the DA had an office up
Yes,
there and all
yes,
that.
and we'll get those set up to where they can be used during the construction. Because
So they're not gonna do anything to those offices?
Oh, yeah.
They're gonna redo them?
Oh, yeah.
And will they be offices or will they be part of the courtroom?
Won't be part of the courtroom, because the courtroom is at its original size right now.
So they're not gonna open it back up? So those will be offices up there, you think, when they redo it?
We're not gonna open it back up to what?
Upstairs where those offices were, what's gonna be there? I mean, are they
On the
gonna?
third floor,
Yes, ma'am?
whatever we decide to put in there, I guess. We could have a commissioner's office up there.
I don't need one up there, I need one in Kirby.
But they will be totally refurbished. Not be over,
How old are these people?
Let's see, when did we set, it's probably been, by the time we get to the contract bid, it'll be over a year.
You better
Pretty
tell
close
them.
to.
If anything, yeah, just have a tariff on it.
It may, in the evening. Technology stuff, it's all in the cloud, look at it.
I'll open that folder when I get home.
You know, we did talk in length about that, the fact that we all know that everything is going up so much, and that's just gonna have to be addressed. And, you know, he can't guarantee that he'll get the money, but from the people that have come back and requested more funds, they have approved of it. I mean, they want these courthouses to be redone and preserved. I mean, that is their purpose. So if, you know, he said if something big came up, you wanted to change some things around so you can use your money better in another spot, that they're open to work with that.
And he stated that, he said, for a while now, people that have come back and requested additional funds because it went over, that they have covered that at the same percentage, which would be 88% of what they pay. But he did say to, if the county makes change orders that wasn't part of the original historical plan, then that would be on us, so that we would need to watch what we, if we did any change orders.
So we do need to look at those plans, be sure that's what we're gonna do, just like with anything else though. You know, if you build a house, you know, if you go in and decide, well, I don't want my bedroom there, I want it over here, it's gonna cost you a lot more money. So we need to be set as well as we can handle that. And I think I mean, all these years, we haven't moved many walls or done anything like that, other than that bathroom downstairs. You used to have a ladies' sitting room down there. I don't know if any of y'all are probably not old enough to remember that, but you could walk in and have a little couch in there, and you could put your makeup on or whatever, and then go around the thing to the restrooms. Yeah. Anyway, it'll be cute. You'll love it. All right. Now, on the funding agreement, if it's agreeable with everybody, I will call, I can't remember the lady's name. What was her name? Maria. All right. We're going to need to call that lady to see if maybe she could come one day next week. And preferably Monday if she can. Let's do that first and see when she can come. And then we'll work around that. I know that the architect could come Monday. We'd already checked on that. But if she can, is going to come a different day, we'll work on that for him to be here that same day. All right. That's the funding agreement. Do you have a motion to table?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor, aye. Any opposed? None. Motion carried. Now, item number 17 is the grant easement between Freestone County and Texas Historical Commission. We talked about that beginning when we did our application. And basically what the grant easement says is that since we're redoing this courthouse, that anything that is going to be changed, we would need to contact them. If it's painting or whatever, so that they could retain the historical building as is. It doesn't give them any hold on the county as far as the property itself. But, for example, if we wanted to put something new on the courthouse square, we would have to get approval from them. So if you will review this, and whatever questions you have, we will need to ask her. That's just basically what it is. It says an interest and easement in the property for the conservation and preservation of historical, architectural, archaeological, or cultural values.
And this is in perpetuity. I read through this once, and I was reading through it again, and my one concern is, okay, we have a storm come through here, and we have some damage. We've got to get, they're going to be involved. Anything repaired, we've got to get their blessing on anything we repair. My question is, what if insurance is our insurance going to, I mean, I'm throwing some what ifs out there, and it's going to cost more to get it back in historic shape. Is insurance going to go for that? I mean, I'm just throwing some scenarios out there.
So we will have to have the replacement, the historical replacement insurance. We'll have to have that certificate at the end of the completion. We'll have to have that certificate. So they will cover.
They require.
Okay, I was just curious. I mean, if we had special, it would make sense. We would have to change our insurance.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
And they talked about us, and Karen's already checked on it, and.
Okay.
Yeah. Plus, if something like that happens, you can request an emergency grant from them, since they want it done back,
Yeah.
just like it needs to be.
And per the way this reads, they can stop this at any time. If it's in the best interest of the state of Texas. So they can pull the plug on their end. We don't have that option, but I mean, I read through it once, and my intention is to read through it again. Because you always miss a little something.
And I believe, I don't remember the number, but they said, Mr. Malanafi said that the next round that they were allocating a lot more money of historical. I don't remember exactly how.
It was double.
Yeah.
Whatever they've been getting every 2 years through this legislature, they're expecting that amount to double.
All right. So you can be thinking about your questions.
All right.
All right, do you have a motion to table on that?
Second.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, aye. Motion carried. 18, replat of the Shepherd Survey Abstract 34. Do we have that? No. Do they want to table it, or what are they doing?
They want to table it for the next meeting, this week.
Next time, okay, we have a motion to table.
Second.
All in favor, aye. Item number 19, Sheriff. Jeremy. Freestone County Sheriff's Office jail bookend restroom repair.
Yes, ma'am. Obviously, we've been having some plumbing issues. That's constant. But our bookend is the only bathroom we have actually in our bookend area. The other bathrooms, you have to go into a population. We had to do some work, and it's going to create more work. So I just kind of wanted to let y'all know when the bills start coming in that it's more on the lines of construction, not plumbing. Because they're going to have to float the floor, where they have to take the toilet out and go into the piping and the wall. Obviously, the wall's not waterproof. There's 2 walls in there that aren't brick, and they're just falling apart. It's sheetrock, water. That's the floor that again that needs to be floated. And it has to be leveled out so that the toilet sits back in there correctly. And then also the water, the sink, the tub, water tub, what I call it, but it's just in there on a wooden, they built a wooden counter for it. And it's just water damage. It's not even gonna hold that sink much longer. And we were thinking, I guess really the only thing, I just wanted to let you know, but also I think we need to go with a stainless steel sink in there and not one of those plastic tubs on a wooden counter. A stainless steel sink would be better, which I think is probably gonna be our biggest expense, probably of all of it, but we're gonna have to get it fixed. 2 walls, we're gonna have to get the Wayne's, what was it? Hardy board or whatever, waterproof, to waterproof both sides in that bathroom. But
Have you had somebody look at it already?
we had Pickens, who's done work for us before, come in and I do not believe he's gave us a quote back yet. So we have had him look at it. I didn't know I don't know how much it's going to be, so I don't know how many quotes we're going to need. So I was going to get one for him to kind of gauge what it would cost, and then if we needed to get more quotes, we'd try to get some. You know how that is sometimes. But I just want to kind of give you a heads up that it's got to be repaired, and it's going to be, I don't know how much a stainless steel sink is, but it's not going to be cheap. So.
All right, well, I think that's what we'll do. If you get a quote, then Karen will tell you if we need to do anything else. And
right. Okay.
We'll move along.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. All right, item number 20 is to discuss a service agreement with Logistic for OAG's Savins Grant Program. We've had that Savins program, and they've changed to that Logistics, isn't that correct?
That's right. Used to be Acris.
So we have a service agreement now, number 20. Now, am I remembering right that the Savins program is the one where we pay the service people that do this, and then the Office of Attorney General, they reimburse us for that amount. But victim notification system. Says counties participating in the OAG SAVIG grant program should be prepared to sign a service agreement with zoologist prior to May the 1st. Well,
I'm gonna do it today.
mhm.
So we're gonna get to it today, is it?
Well, I don't think we have the agreement yet, do we? I don't have it.
Karen said that she hasn't received the agreement yet, we're waiting on it.
Tell me that again.
We're waiting on the agreement.
Is this similar to the Vine program?
It is.
So
It's the
we,
notification.
so we're using Vine, right? I mean, or is it through
It's
this?
through APRIS, yeah,
I
Yeah.
just know it is Vine and
yes.
Vine is the victims, what is it, impact?
notification system.
So APRIS is the company, is the person, the vendor we pay right now, but they're changing, it looks like.
Four
to
Vines.
this.
Okay. Sheriff might know, because I thought that was being serviced under like Sidnet or one of those.
It's APRIS, it's who we pay.
I'll stay out of it, but
Yeah.
I'm familiar with the Vines and I know that we have that active.
This is just, I'm sure, just taking the place of APRIS.
It's just a different vendor. It's new.
Would we need to table it, or we just, we don't have the agreement? Yeah, we don't have the agreement, so.
Immediate action required, it says.
Well, then we'd have to have the 1295 too.
It has to be done by May 1st.
We're gonna put this on our special meeting.
When is that?
I hope we can do it Monday, but we're gonna reach out to, Maria from the Historical Commission and see when she can be here. If she can be here Monday, we'll do it Monday, but I'll let y'all know as soon as we can get in touch with her. Do you wanna go try to call her?
I'll be gone
Yes.
Tuesday, Thursday to schedule an appointment to the West Texas Conference.
Okay.
Get my hour.
Okay.
That's probably around Monday and part, maybe part of Tuesday morning.
We'll see if we can get her here Monday.
Yeah, I'd like to be here when this
I
one
know,
goes.
well, yeah.
I'd like to be in that meeting.
Yeah, but those two things are very important. See if she can come Monday.
Okay, I told a minute ago, Karen, if she could find her phone number, she was able to do it. She didn't answer, but she sent her an email as well.
Make a motion, we table the agreement, this second.
Second.
All in favor, aye. Number 21, proclamation for Soil and Water Stewardship Week. Whereas healthy, fertile soil and clean water is the livelihood lifeblood of nutrition and sustenance throughout the world, and soil conservation is a benefit to everyone. And whereas effective conservation practices ensure soil, water, animals, plants, and air can provide a rich standard of living, and whereas our survival and continued production and access to quality food and water depends on the robust management of diverse natural resources nationwide, and whereas stewardship falls upon every individual to help conserve these precious resources to ensure their prosperity for generations to come. Therefore, I do hereby proclaim the week of April 27th to May the 4th as Texas Soil and Water Stewardship Week. Do we have a
I'll make that motion that we,
approve the proclamation?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Motion carried. We do fund them, soil and water conservation. The main purpose of that, well, one of the big purposes is to, whatever we fund them, then they get a match from the state for that. 22, discuss and approve the interlocal agreement with the city of Fairfield.
Motion to table that.
second.
Have a motion and a second, all in favor, aye. Any opposed, none, motion carried. Item number 23, the Chandler Regional Water District Communication Tower Contract.
Is this the same amount they've been charging us?
Do we have actually the contract itself? What period is it?
Yeah.
Yes, right, behind it.
The 500, that's what we always,
That's what we bought, 500, that's what the year was done, yes. Yes. There's going to be a relocation because they have a new building. And that's going to be done on the 31st.
There'll be additional charge, we'll have to pay up to move
To move.
our equipment from the old building into their new building. But the contract is a 5-year, staying the same price.
This is the renewal and extension of the license agreement, the whole year. Okay. The license is to the sheriff, so he will have to sign that, but we need to approve it and, annual land release, annual land lease rental communication tower space. Do we have a motion?
I'll make it.
Thank you.
I second.
Any opposed? None. Motion carried. Hallelujah. Okay. Item 24, discussion survey at the Liberty voting box.
Rick, can you see it? Karen printed out some.
Yes.
There you go. Thank you.
This is good right here.
That's a good one.
This is a good one.
So, JP out of Anderson County, Judge James DeFazio, I think I'm pronouncing it correctly.
I thought he was out of Denton County.
I thought Anderson. I
He's
could be wrong.
Denton, yeah, he's from Denton, he's from Denton
Yeah,
County.
okay.
I went to school with him.
Apparently, they purchased 26 acres a while back, and there was an older mobile home on it. Long story short, the Liberty box, where we used to have a voting box, a little building, and the county owns 2.124 acres. This man and his wife are fixing to build a house out there. So they got a survey on their property. The survey shows that part of their buildings and their septic is on county property right now. And so they're utilizing our property, and he is wanting the opportunity to purchase a portion of our 2.12 acres so that he can move forward with his plans, and it's the higher ground that he would like to build on. And for him not to have to remove existing structures and stuff.
That he wants to build on the property he acquires from us.
Correct.
What it is, the Liberty voting box, you haven't been down there, it's a was a portable building with no electricity where they voted. They each set up a generator and da-da-da-da while they were voting. And precinct one manned it with a gas can and that type of thing. Had a porta potty. There's a fence right behind it and a scope of woods.
Yeah, one time we went there and cut the trees off the fence because
What am I looking at?
you would think that that would be the fence line. It's an old
It was a
fence.
fence line, but it's not. It was a fence line, but it's not a property line. That's what I'm trying to say.
I'm assuming that's his over here.
Yes, it is right here.
The little one?
Well, maybe all of this now. But this right here, that's what we own, is that right? This is what we own right here. This little square,
Okay.
and the fence is right here, this wood line.
We don't utilize, I mean, it's just there, the back of it.
It's just there.
What do you know that?
The only thing we've used is that driveway, and like Andy said,
Yeah.
that little building is no good, needs to be demoed out. And then we usually keep spoiled dirt in a pile right here when we clean the sides of the roads.
Okay.
I'd be fine with selling as long as that money could go into a fund, or we could only plan on using that money to purchase other property in the future. I think it should be earmarked, or that amount of money should be earmarked.
What do you want to give for it, do you know? That,
I have not, I didn't want to discuss any prices because
yeah.
I don't know if I'm good or not.
Do we maintain it now, mow it, or do anything, or is it just there?
Just, we mow up to where we pile the dirt to the building, it's just woods behind it, and then we did go back in there and cut some trees off the fence when the storm come through and blowed them over on what we thought was his
That's
property.
where we used to have.
We were loaded over on our property.
We used to have a burn pile right there.
Yeah, we burned right across the road from it in the
They
train,
moved the voting box from that building to the Lone Star Church,
and then it moved to
and now it's moved.
the community center.
We don't have many voters.
This old county took all of that.
Don't have any out
The
there.
church and, 88.
We don't have a voters out there at all now.
How many are in that box, though, voters in that box?
Nobody votes out there anymore. We moved it completely.
Yes.
That was number 12. We don't even have a 12 anymore.
Are there any people that live in that 12?
Very few.
Okay, that's
I don't
what
know
I'm
how
asking.
many
How
off
many
the
voters
bat, but
are
yeah.
in that box? That
Yeah,
is-
I don't know how many off the hand, but there's not too many.
Right on the Overwood, turning on 300 going.
I thought it was back in there somewhere.
If you have the last county road, right before you get to the river, you turn on it, you'll come to that triangle.
Okay. I had been down there, long time.
I say we sell it, put the money in the, like you say, in fund to purchase property down.
You want to keep the front
Yeah.
where you got a place to do something.
What kind of plots are we gonna put on it?
I don't have any idea.
How much area?
How can we legally sell that? Does it have to, would we have to bid that out or put it out like
Not
we do
for
a piece
real
of
estate,
equipment?
not for real estate,
Well, there are some requirements that you.
a little bit, yeah, but, I mean, you don't have to bid real estate out.
What kind of acre, I mean, what is it? Don't have to.
I think it's on the tax roll about 17,000 acre, which
I mean, but how much area are we talking about? A little over an acre?
probably
It's 2.1.
2.13 is what we own, 2.12.
That's a city lot. 2 acres.
Yeah, if you cut that in half, I think it gives him what he needs.
Yeah.
It gives us more than we're using, and there's a buffer of trees right there where there's separation. Like I said, I'd be for selling it as long as we put it back into other property when we have a chance.
So my solution, or my opinion on that would be, so that's earmarked, and it would go from 1 year, if nothing come up this year, if we wanted to use it next year and we've still got it, just like we have on the opioid, I've put all of the money that has come in an unearned revenue. And so that just, until we decide what we're gonna do with that money, then it just stays there.
It just stays there.
Mhm.
Just be an asset.
Mhm. Yes.
Turn into some asset.
That's fine.
Price wise, I mean, 10,
What do you,
12, I mean, at least, I would think. If you're doing him a favor. I would say no less than 10, probably 15, I mean, really like 15 or something like that.
17 seems pretty high.
It did, I thought it was high.
What's that?
The 17
17.
seemed
Oh,
high. And so it won't have road frontage or anything like that, it'll be the backside of the properties.
And we didn't even know we owned it. So,
Yeah, I always thought that fence back there behind that little
That's
building.
what it is.
12.5, I mean, anything below in there would be fair for everybody.
Should we just table this and I have some discussion with him and then
Yeah.
revisit it
bring it
next
back
meeting?
next time.
Motion to table.
Okay.
Hold it on the table. Happy days, all right. Any comments from Commissioners Court members?
I'd like to say I'm certainly glad that the Texas High-Speed Rail has had the brakes put on it as far as I know.
What happened? I missed it.
Well, the Trump,
National Transportation Secretary, wasn't it?
you know, took away 60-something million, 60-something million away from it
Funding.
yesterday. And so, you know, the people, there was a lot of people in the county that went to those meetings all over everywhere. And Mr. Oaks that sit over where you at was one of the ones that was very instrumental about stopping that train. And I went to a lot of meetings with him, and I'm glad to know that something's been finally done, and hopefully it will not come down to our county.
It would die.
Any other discussion?
It must be graduation time for William Sherrill losing road signs and stop signs. It must be, putting them on the wall, baby. Like that.
Last two wrong.
Yeah.
Judge Grant, she answered and she said that
Come up here.
she answered and she said that this Monday she can't, but the next, the 28th, she will be able to come.
She doesn't have any,
And that way you'll be here.
she cannot come this Monday,
But she can the 28th.
the 28th.
Will you be back by then, Will? Will you be back by the 28th?
That's my birthday, I'll be here.
Oh, my, I'm glad to know that.
Okay, too.
We'll have to have a celebration.
No, it's not a good number this year.
It's not,
It's a 6-0 deal. Ooh, I'm not good with it.
Basic gag, man.
Main thing, just make sure you have, as
too
long as y'all know,
bad. Nothing we can do.
as long as you
Hey,
have.
good. Huh? Did they say that the basic gag in it?
Ain't nothing bothers me till this one, it's thinking, you can't think too long, got another down.
This thing don't have to
Well,
worry
you
about it.
can't say you're middle-aged anymore, that you're not middle-aged anymore, you're at least middle-aged.
I can get maybe so. Easy.
No, I didn't say
If
that.
you're not middle-aged and you're not old, what are you?
Mellow.
Prime, I'm gonna say prime.